Alright guys, so before I start this video, and before everyone tries to come and hate on me, and try to say that I am just trying to shit on, what's their name? Lily Orchard, that's incorrect. I agree with about half of their video. It's only when they start getting into some more of the controversial things that I'm like, I don't know about that, dog. See, before I started watching the video, I was like, I hadn't finished Steven Universe. I had gotten up to season 5 without actually even noticing, but I had gotten to season 5, and then I was just like, alright, I've watched enough, blah, blah, blah. Then I see this video, why Steven Universe is garbage, and here's why. Now, I don't completely disagree with that title. Steven Universe is kind of trash, except for season 1 and 5. And maybe 2. 2 is pretty dope. But my whole problem was with the second half of the video. Which, one of my main problems, one of the ones that I really just can't get out of my mind, is his or her, I actually don't know. Her name, she refers to herself as Lily, but it's a very masculine voice. So I'm just going to say them from now on, because I actually have no clue. I don't watch enough of their content to actually know. But it's so ridiculous how they poop on Pink Diamond and try to say Pink Diamond was a bad character and a bad person. Now, being someone that hadn't watched all of season 5, had only watched I want to say the first 3 episodes of season 5. By the way, there's spoilers for this. I was under the assumption that, yeah, Pink Diamond was probably going to end up being a piece of crap, and Pink Diamond was going to end up being Rose Quartz. Those were the two obvious things that everyone knew were going to happen. But he tries to make you think, or they try to make you think that Pink Diamond is like a fudge, some type of insane person that takes advantage of people and is part of the Nazis, except that not at the same time. I'm just like, no, that's not accurate, that's not correct. If you pay attention to the show, there's literally a whole episode dedicated to the fact that Pink Diamond was never really with the other diamonds. Pink Diamond didn't really do anything. Earth was her first colony ever. She didn't have any other colonies before that. And what she did do before that, which we also learn in a later episode, is basically just throw parties for everyone else and keep watch over small things. We even get to know with the pebbles, I think that's what they're called, the pebbles, that she likes to take creatures from other planets that she has an interest in and keep them safe, keep them with her. She's friends with basically everyone she meets. When she meets someone, they end up liking her more as a friend than as a diamond. And he tries to make the point, they try to make the point that oh, Pearl was her slave, so that entire relationship is completely messed up. No. Yes, Pearl was her slave, but in the episode, they make it obvious that that Pink Diamond wasn't treating her like a slave. Yes, she was a slave. She was absolutely a slave. But every step along the way, Pink Diamond tried to make her more like a friend. She tried to make her feel more comfortable to be around her. She didn't want her to see her as, oh, I tell you what to do, I'm your leader, this, that, and the fourth. She wanted it to be more like, hey, what's up, Pearl? I don't know, how's it going, Pink Diamond? And that, at least to me, and I would hope to most people, is kind of fudging obvious, because in the show, every time Pearl says, oh, of course, my diamond, Pink Diamond would give her a worried look, I don't really want you saying that. I don't want you to think of me that way. Because she doesn't want to just be seen as a Pink Diamond, the unstoppable godly being that everyone has to listen to. She wants to be seen as a kind and friendly person to the people around her. By the way, don't get me wrong. I'm not a big fan of Steven Universe. I think some sections are actually pretty stupid. But it's just and I think that most of the things he talks about are kind of dumb and bad. But the my whole thing is just that I just don't understand where they're coming from. So many things that they bring up, I'm like, yeah, I guess you can see it that way, but it seems a lot more simple to see it this way instead. Occam's razor type beat. Like later on, they bring up the zoos, the human zoos, and how like that was like a real life thing and that's super messed up. Not in Steven Universe, it wasn't. In Steven Universe, it was literally Pink Diamond wanting to help the Earthlings since she's being forced to colonize the planet. The whole thing with Pink Diamond is that she was told she has to go colonize a planet, but when she actually sees the planet and sees the life on it, she wants to stop. She doesn't want any part of that. Why don't they understand that? Why is that so hard to get through their head? Is that Pink Diamond, after seeing the planet and understanding what's going on here, does not want to hurt anyone. So the human zoo that it's supposed to be so bad and so evil is really a good thing. She is providing the possibility for those humans to survive. When you look at the human zoo, what do you see? Do you see a bunch of sad, depressed humans that like want to die or something? No, you see happy people living in what's supposed to be a utopianized version of Earth. And so I just don't understand where they're coming from, because it's shown to be a good thing. It's shown as a happy thing. It's shown as everyone there is cool and happy with the situation that they're in. Even though, yes, they are in a zoo. And that is a little messed up. But it's the best Pink Diamond could have done for them. It was either have them be in a zoo where they can at least live and like talk to each other, or have them die. Those were the two choices for Pink Diamond, and I'm pretty sure those humans were happy they at least got to live. Now, let me start talking about the racial things. One, my opinion, the most egregious one is sugilite. Sugilite, I think it's how you pronounce the name of that gem. I'm kind of bad with pronunciations with just about everything. But sugilite is a character that is the amalgamation of amethyst and garnet. Personally, she's my favorite of all the fusions. She has the coolest design. She has the most badass attitude. I love sugilite. And they try to make the point that, Pearl, the white character, whenever she combines with someone, they end up being elegant, civilized, more prim and proper. But whenever it's Garnet, who's supposed to be more black, or Amethyst, who's supposed to be like, I guess, Spanish or something, they always end up like monsters and like crazy and whatever. And I'm like, no, it's about personality. Could that play a part? Yes, maybe. I can take a step back and realize that could have been their mindset, and that could have been the way that things ended up. But I see it more as a personality thing. Pearl, if you pay attention during the show, no matter who she fuses with, that person has to bend to Pearl's will. That person has to dance in the way that Pearl wants them to dance. Like when Pearl and Amethyst fuse, every time that Amethyst would go in like twerking or street dancing, the fusion wouldn't work with Pearl. It would mess up and they would get kicked out. Because Pearl has such a organized, things must be this way mindset. Her personality won't allow such sporadic and crazy dancing. It's not a race thing, it's a personality thing. It's the fact that she is basically like a maid, it's the fact that she's all organized and whatever. That's why that's why whenever someone fuses with her, that they end up this prim and proper fusion. It's not because she's white. Also, Sugilite is amazing, and Sugilite is crazy because she's a combination of amethyst and garnet. Garnet is supposed to be the super cool, club type person that, like, she's quiet and she just has that aura about her. They're just like, yeah, when she walks in the room, you notice. And amethyst is the loud, rambunctious type that just kind of likes destroying things, just making a mess. So when you put those things together, you get a super cool character that is also a monster that likes messing things up. It's because amethyst is crazy and garnet is cool. You combine those together and you get a crazy cool character. And the only way that I can kind of see where you're coming from with that is with Smoky Quartz, which I'm surprised you didn't bring up. To be fair, I didn't watch the last 20 minutes because I started watching Steven Universe Future, which, by the way, I started watching the last season of Steven Universe halfway through once I started being like, wait, this doesn't seem right. I finished all of Steven Universe, and that's why I have these opinions now. But I did miss the last 20 minutes. I hope that, like, what I'm saying doesn't become redundant because of that, and I end up looking stupid. Hopefully that's not the case. But another one that they bring up is Concrete. A sketch idea, a conceptual art of a character that never made it onto scene and wasn't even really written into the story. Just a concept character. Was the concept character racist? Yes, I can agree with that. It was a racist design. It was a fucked up design. It was really odd that they even had the wherewithal to think of such a thing. But it's not like it made it into the show. They, after a while, like, even though it took longer than they should have, the fact that it actually got fleshed out into a character before it got scrapped is messed up. But at least they had that inkling that, oh, we need to shut this down. That's not cool. Another thing about Sugilite that I dislike is that they tried to act like Nicki Minaj got, like, upset with their portrayal of Sugilite, because Sugilite's like crazy, and they'll be like, Nicki Minaj, if you notice, she didn't come back to reprise her role. It's probably because it's racist. No, it's because guest voice actors are expensive. Voice actors by themselves are expensive. You now make it a super popular hip-hop artist? That's so expensive that it's insane to have her come on and just do like a few lines just to have her leave again. She's gonna charge you fudging millions. That's why they didn't have her back. It's not because she thought it was racist and decided not to do it. It doesn't even make sense why that would be the case. Another weird assertion is Bismuth. That, like, Bismuth is supposed to be black, which I agree. Bismuth is clearly supposed to be a black character, a bit of a radicalized black character. And they're like, oh, as soon as we get this radical character, they immediately shut it down. They're like, oh, she's too radical. Things like that. It's like, you're not wrong, but it has nothing to do with her being black. It has to do with her being a little too for the cause. She's a little too dangerous to have around. It's not because she was black. Bismuth's whole thing is that she takes the ideals of those crystal gems and what they do, and she just took it a little bit too far. She was a little bit too aggressive with it. the whole reason that she got bubbled was because her ideas were a little too crazy. It were a little too, oh, let's go murder people. It had nothing to do with the fact that she was representative of a black character, that she was coded to be a black character. Another thing is the fact that they tried to be like, oh, these diamonds do not deserve the redemption that they get at the end of the series. First of all, they only get a minor redemption, not like a full, oh, these people are cool from now on redemption. They get a minor redemption, and it kind of makes sense in the context of the show. So I know you guys know the idea of talk no jutsu. Anyone who watches anime knows talk no jutsu. It's a Naruto thing where the fact that Naruto can just talk every villain out of their villainhood, you know. And I personally generally hate that in shows. I think it's the most annoying thing ever. And Steven Universe is where I would expect it to be the worst offender, because Steven Universe is already really, really poorly written. But it actually made sense this time. Literally, White Diamond wasn't a real White Diamond. She wasn't pure white. She was an off color. So when Steven reveals that, they get like a small little explanation from White Diamond, being like, oh, I had to make myself perfect. I had to make sure that I had no blemishes. I had to make sure that I am the purest, that I am the standard that everyone has to go to. She put herself in a mental prison in order to be the person she believes she was supposed to be, because she was upset that she was an off color. So when Steven literally like touches her and like a piece of like pink diamond gets into White Diamond, when that happens, you see a literal shift. There is a genuine inside of the body shift from her soul that shows that she had been holding herself back this entire time. That the person she's been being isn't really the person that she is. And so when you see that shift in the show, it was done kind of poorly, but it made a lot of sense. And the other two diamonds, you see Yellow Diamond the entire time, the entire like thousands of years she's been around, has just been listening to White Diamond. All the planets that she's conquered, all the things she has to run, she doesn't do that because she thinks that's like the right thing to do, or that like that's what she's supposed to be doing. She does it because her older sister, White Diamond, is just like, hey, we need to make sure the entire world is as pure as we are. Let's actually get some stuff done. And after a long time, it's like, even if you begin to realize what you're doing is bad, it's like, there's no other option anymore. You already have like 50 planets conquered. You already have armies of people at your beck and call. There's kind of no going back, especially since the person who told you to do all this is so powerful that if you try talking back, she would just shut you down immediately. Blue Diamond, the entire time, seems like she doesn't want to do any of this. Like, she conquers planets almost like it's almost as though she's doing it like without her free will. Like, she genuinely hates having to do all of this and would rather hang out with Pink Diamond and just chill like Pink Diamond does. So of course them two switching over, it's kind of more of a natural thing, because they were kind of just under the main antagonist. They were underneath the fascists. They weren't themselves the fascists. They became the fascists that they were forced to be. But at the end of the day, they were still nice on the inside. Now, even at the end of the series, White Diamond isn't nice. She just isn't evil. She's more neutral by the end of it. By the end of Steven Universe, she's way more neutral and realizes the error of her ways. And when you realize that you've been doing shitty people to yourself, I mean shitty things to your own people, of course you're gonna stop. Say I bleached my skin and made me white. By the way, I'm a person of color. Um, Say I had bleached my skin so that I looked white. And I spent all of my time, and I was alive for thousands and thousands of years, and I was oppressing black people. And then all of a sudden, my skin reverts back to black. I'm gonna start realizing in myself that I have been basically oppressing myself. I've been fucking myself over, and it's even worse for the diamonds because their mental state is a physical thing that they lock away. It's something they can physically change within themselves, which is what White Diamond did. So, of course, she deserves a minor redemption. So, of course, Yellow Diamond deserves a minor redemption. Of course, Blue Diamond deserves a minor redemption. And at the end of the day, Pink Diamond is a good person. I assumed she was going to be a shitty person. And, and they tried to say that, oh, she's super selfish and things like that. She's really not. Like, maybe you could say she's a little selfish because she didn't start feeling bad until she saw things that she considered beautiful on the planet. But you could just kind of chalk that up to ignorance because it was always kind of shown that she was the more childish one, the more naive one, the one that kind of just does what she's told because, that's kind of how it is. So you can just chalk that up to childish or naivete, things like that. But at the end of the day, I still don't like Steven Universe. I still don't really like Rebecca Sugar. I still don't really like her art. And I agree with a whole lot of things he said in the beginning half. They ruined a lot of characters. Garnet is basically just, fusion this, fusion that after like season 2, which is boring. Amethyst, kind of does have an actual personality change in season 5, which I actually kind of liked. But before season 5, Amethyst is just kind of annoying and refuses to grow up. Pearl, I hate Pearl. Well, except for in season 5, once again, where they fix Pearl. Pearl is actually really cool in season 5, and I like Pearl in season 5. Peridot, I agree. The most solid character in the show. I still kind of prefer Garnet, but she's the most solid. Lapis Lazuli is the one I also disagree with. I don't believe, yes, she does shitty things, and she continues to be shitty. But my whole thing is when they try talking about Lapis Lazuli trapping Jasper at the bottom of the ocean. She kind of did that out of spite. Yes, she was the abuser, but that's because she was abused. It was more of a mental thing, and she did it to someone that she considered evil. It's like if you're angry that someone constantly punches you in the face. So then you go and find someone who punches someone else in the face all the time, and you punch them in the face. What you're doing isn't right, but it doesn't really make you a shitty person since you're doing it to someone who's already shitty. But overall, I don't really have a problem with Lily. They seem pretty fine. They actually have a pretty decent voice for YouTube. I like that they can make their video 2 hours long without making it boring. That's really good, and I have no problem with the channel itself. I'm actually probably gonna watch more videos, now that I've gotten all this anger out of my system. And I think there's genuinely a pretty decent channel. It's just some of these things, it seems like their eyes are blind to these things. Their eyes are kind of shaded away from these, at least what I would think are obvious things about the show. That Pink Diamond isn't a bad person. The Diamonds deserve at least a small bit of redo. Also, the writing in the show is terrible. Rebecca tries to just shove jokes in the middle of really serious sections, and like it gets really annoying and terrible. But if you strip away all those bad jokes, it is kind of a nice, heartwarming story. Thank you all for coming to my TED Talk. I'll see you all later.